Right. Okay, so we are going to work on constructed responses for this. You will have approximately 2 to 3 constructed responses on your ECA. When I first started teaching how to do constructed response, when I started teaching 10th graders, and if you guys could put your screens down for right now, I'm sorry. When I started teaching 10th grade, my students didn't do that great on constructed responses, and I taught some strategies that are different than what I'm teaching today. And basically, the constructed responses are scored on a 2-point rubric. That doesn't mean that they're only worth 2 points. It just means they use a rubric that basically has a 2, a 1, or a 0, okay, to be scored. A 2 means you did awesome, you answered it correctly, you supported your answer with text evidence, makes sense what you did, okay? A 1 means you didn't have enough support for what you were saying. Maybe you were a little off on the right track with that. A 0 means you were either completely wrong in your answer, you were misreading the text, or you just really didn't provide any support for what you were saying, okay? And as I've been talking to more people from the state, I've come to find out that they really expect 2 pieces of evidence. And when I first started to teach this, I only had students include 1. But they want 2 pieces of evidence because you really need to support your answer fully. That means that you need to be able to say, you know, the author's tone isn't just this tone in this one little place, but this is the author's tone in the piece as a whole, okay? I've really read the whole piece and I understand what's going on, so you need to support that. So I think that in part is why the Toulmin method is helpful. The Toulmin method's also been helpful for my students. I've seen their scores go up because that commentary part is really important when you're using text evidence, because you could have just picked out some random text and you know why you chose it, but if you don't explain why you chose it, it's going to, the person reading your stuff can't read your mind. I know that's hard to believe, but they can't, okay? And it feels silly to write that explanation because it totally makes sense to you, but you need to actually put your thoughts down. Okay, let's look at this actual question, and this would be similar to the type of question you would see on the ECA after having a reading. Analyze how the author's word choices shape the tone in his, or that should be his or her letter. Use evidence from the text to support your answer. Okay, this is a complex question because it's not just asking what is the author's tone. Okay, that we could answer, but analyze, what does that mean? And it means explaining why the author made those choices. So not just what their tone is, but why is their tone that? Why are they making those choices? And so we need to talk about the word choices specifically and the tone, which we can do because we've already done our soapstone. Like, we know that. We just need to put it into writing on what we're doing. And I have first periods. They used, I forget what tone. I need to go back. Judgmental, okay? But I think we used a different tone word yesterday. Does anyone remember what it was? Outraged? I think it was outraged. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this here. Okay, but then I need different, and that needs to be and outraged. I need different text evidence if I'm going to support that particular claim, because different claims need different evidence. That didn't work. Okay, yeah, if you guys could open up your, thank you, Sawyer. If you guys could open up your Chromebooks and type this in your document. And I'm making it green to show that it's my claim. Okay, the mother's word choices in her letter contribute to an outraged tone in order to persuade Green Day to change their music. Okay, so I included in that the author's purpose, their tone, and I'm making a claim that there are specific word choices that contribute to that tone. And my claim in a constructed response is what I think the answer is. Okay, that's my opinion about what the correct answer is. And with the constructed response, the plus side is there's lots of multiple answers that are possible to be correct. So our opinion really matters, but we need to back it up with text support to prove that, like, this can be a correct answer. While you guys type that, I'm going to find some text evidence to support my idea that she is outraged.
It got really cold.
What?
It got really cold.
I know. Some of you are happy about how cold it is.
What did you see?
Okay, I'm going to introduce my quotation because we don't want quotations hanging out on their own. They're naked. We don't want naked quotes. Okay, so and that needs to be yellow. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. Yellow. In the text, now we're moving on to evidence, so we're yellow. In the text, the author claims, and I need to change my text here because I just copied and pasted it from the letter. If you guys want to copy and paste it from the letter, there is a link to the letters at the top of this worksheet here. Okay, in the text, the author claims, I'm a parent and I'm very disturbed by the cassette tape my 8-year-old son was listening to. And then I need some commentary, and I know you guys aren't quite there yet, okay? But I need to explain how this shows outrage. The author mentions her 8-year-old son in order to show just how inappropriate she thinks this music is. When you guys are writing your constructed response, this phrase, in order to, is really helpful. I'm bolding it and making it bigger so we remember that, okay? But when we're analyzing what an author's doing and talking about what we're doing, this phrase, in order to, is just really helpful. And while you guys do that, I'm going to find a little bit more evidence here to show this outrage. Okay. And then I'm going to put the author also, I'm going to change the font in a second. The author also complains, saying, why don't you do something positive and clean up your act? Again, notice I don't have a naked quote. It's introduced properly.
Can you make that yellow black for a second?
I can make it a darker yellow. Would that work? Brandon's like, maybe not. Barely a dark yellow at this point. Okay. All right, and again, I need to explain, how does this show outrage? And I don't want to say outrage and outrage and outrage over and over again, but I think in this case in the commentary, it's okay to mention that word again to make that connection, okay? By using angry questions, and no, it's yellow. Oh, no, I need to be red at this point. Oh. Yeah, it's like a, not really yellow. We'll just call it yellow though. By using angry questions and the word garbage to describe their music, the mother shows how outraged she is that Green Day's music is so terrible. Okay, again, I'm explaining specifically what she's doing to make that tone. Okay, and that's my constructed response. When you guys get to your constructed response, which is down here, I'm going to scroll back up here, okay? You're going to do the same question, but for Green Day's letter. Okay, again, the links are up at the top of the page. And you can use a lot of the wording that I use, okay? I'm showing that as a model for you guys to kind of copy after. It doesn't, there's nothing else. Oh, to scroll this way? Yes. I'll probably scroll back up in a minute, Brianna, so that while you're writing your own question, you can do that. I'd like you guys to work with you can either work with a partner of your choice today with your constructed response, or if you are a solitary type person and you want to just work by yourself, that's okay too. If you want me to check your answer before you turn it in, I can do that to give you feedback, and I'll be walking around to kind of give you guys feedback anyways, because that's what I do. And then if you could turn it in up here, you should have a turn in button when you're done. I'd like you to have it done by the end of this period. I think you can do that. Can you still see Brianna, or am I? Okay. Yeah, so you'll have to pick a different tone because Billy Joe has a different tone in his. You can go to your list of tone descriptors that we made together, or your soapstone should already have the tone word that you picked out and some text evidence already set out, okay? So you're already kind of on your way towards having a good response. Okay, I'll stop recording this for Zach.